for jumping on tonight. I'm honored that you're here. I want to take one steady, deep breath before we start tonight and just let your shoulders soften, feel your feet on the floor, let your nervous system settle just a little bit. So I know both of you know me, but for anybody who isn't familiar with me, who is watching the replay, my name is Monica Connolly, and I help faith-centered women who no longer recognize themselves remember who they are and rise into who they were created to be. Now, it's not from theory, it's from lived experience. I know what it feels like to lose yourself. That may be under layers of responsibility, trauma, exhaustion, identity loss, and a lot of times the pressure to be the strong one in your family. But I also know what it takes to come home to yourself again. So tonight, this space is for you, and it's just a space to breathe, a space to reconnect, and a space to hear your own voice again. So before we go any further, I want to hear from you. Drop in the chat what your intention word for 2026 is if you already know what it is. And I'm going to go back and look at the chat because I can't see the chat when I'm presenting. So if anybody would be okay, I can see the chat. So Karen says she doesn't know. Okay, that's okay. I just figured mine out yesterday. So my word for 2026 is unveiled. So be thinking about what your word for 2026 is. And then you can always go back to your notes and take what we learned tonight and build onto that. So we're going to be moving through a 3-part process. It's called reflect, release, and rise. Now, it's not just a pretty framework. It's the process that God downloaded to me that I walked through during some of the hardest seasons in my life. It's also the foundation of the nervous system healing, the identity restoration, and the stepping into purpose, all of that work that I do and that I lead other women through. So reflecting helps you see what your life has been trying to tell you. Releasing helps your body let go of what was never yours to carry. And rising helps you show up aligned, grounded, and connected to who you were created to be. So it's a 3-step framework that creates transformation, not from force, but from clarity, safety, and intention. So let me go through here. So here's a little bit about me. I'm known as the Transformation Catalyst Coach. I'm an international best-selling author, a podcast host, and a speaker. I lost 150 pounds and healed from chronic illness, identity loss, trauma, and years of carrying the weight of being the strong one in my family. Through faith-rooted nervous system healing, I guide women through that same process, releasing the emotional and physical weight that they've been carrying, helping them learn to regulate their nervous system and restore their identity and their energy, reconnecting with their God-given identity, and reclaiming their voice, confidence, and purpose. I have a multitude of certifications, and I've learned now that I always felt like I needed another certification. I always felt like the certifications I had wasn't enough, and I always needed to learn more. Don't fall down that rabbit hole. Wherever you're at right now, you are plenty. You know what you need to be able to get started down your journey. So don't ever question that you don't have the knowledge that you need, because you do. So our journey together tonight is going to be reflecting, releasing, and rising to reclaim your identity and the clarity that you want for 2026. So tonight, I ask that you be present, that you participate, and let your reflections become revelations that you can go back to. So, the power of looking back. We can't rise until we've reflected. It's not about reliving the past, it's honoring what your heart, your mind, and your body have been whispering all year long. Most women don't reflect because they're stuck in survival mode. So, when you're holding everyone else together, it's easy to lose sight of who you are. That's what happened to me. Reflection reconnects you with your identity. It helps your nervous system shift from urgency to awareness, and it's really the doorway to your truth. So grab your journal. We're going to pause for a moment for an honest reflection, and I'm going to walk you through 3 prompts. The first one is, what did 2025 reveal about who you are and what you need? And I'm going to give you guys a copy of this replay so you can go back and look at this more and have these journal prompts that you can go back and spend time with. The second question is, where did you feel disconnected from yourself this year? And the third is, what emotions or patterns kept repeating, and what might your body be trying to tell you? Now, another one that I like to have people also reflect on is, what did 2025 reveal about your needs, your truths, or your limits? And those limits could be physically, it could be financially, it could be spiritually, anywhere that you felt like you came up against a wall and you hit something there that you couldn't get past. So we're going to continue through learning to reflect, release, and rise, laying down what's been heavy, stepping into your alignment and purpose. So, something that's really important for nervous system healing is breath work. So, we're going to take a moment to breathe together because your body can't rise and shift if it's still bracing for impact. So, we're going to place one hand on our heart and one hand on your belly. You're going to inhale slowly for 4, hold for 2, and exhale for 6. And we're going to do that one more time. Slowly inhale for 4, hold for 2, and exhale for 6. Now, this type of breathing is really simple and it tells your body that you're safe. You can relax. You don't have to worry or carry anything right now. And I want you to remember, your breath is not something small. We don't even think about when we're breathing throughout the day. Our body does that automatically. But by controlling your breathing, it's really a way that you can reset your body, doing that box breathing, things like that, even for 3 to 4 minutes at a time. That can make a huge shift and take you out of fight or flight into a calm emotional state. So, gentle movement for emotional release, supporting your nervous system through simple grounding movements. It can be stretching, walking. I also love to do grounding outside. It's too cold right now to go do that where most of us are at. But in the summertime when it's warm, I will walk outside. My son actually does this all the time. Even in the cold, he does not wear shoes at all. Unless we are leaving the house to go somewhere, he will put on shoes, but he walks to the mailbox barefoot. He walks around the backyard barefoot. So it's a really, really good way to help support your body. It just signals safety to your body. Stillness and breath work. intentional breathing can bring your body out of overwhelm and back into peace and clarity. And getting out in nature, something that I think a lot of us really enjoy doing, but probably don't do as much as we would like. Um, I was able to get outside over Thanksgiving and be outside most of the day, and I could not believe the difference in how good it felt, and it just helped calm my system so much. So really getting outside, reconnecting with God, your breath, let the fresh air just kind of wash everything away. So that's another good option too. And how to support yourself as you are releasing. So, releasing is actually one of the most misunderstood parts of your transformation. It's not about giving up. It's not about abandoning responsibility or pretending that life doesn't happen, because we all know that just life happens every day, sometimes multiple times a day. But it means that you stop carrying what you were never asked to hold. It means that the weight you've been under gets acknowledged, your nervous system gets a break. So there was a season of my life when I was carrying everything, and still very much is the case emotionally, financially, physically, spiritually. And I didn't realize that my body was really collapsing under the pressure of always being the one in control of everything. And the moment that I learned to release that, not avoid it, but release it, is when my healing was able to start. When I was able to surrender and say, this is not for me to control, I was able to start taking care of myself again and start taking steps towards healing that had not happened for a very long time. Now, everybody deserves to be able to do that. So, in the chat, if you are comfortable, I would love if you could share one thing that you are ready to release control of. While you guys think about that, we're going to talk a little bit about how to support yourself as you learn to release. So, it's really shifting your body out of survival mode. So, you're slowing your breath, the gentle movement, that all signals safety to your nervous system. You're going to start to recenter and align yourself more. You're going to quiet that internal noise and that internal talk that we all do to ourselves so that clarity can actually come out. So you want to pause to notice what you're holding. Um, Interrupting thoughts is a really good way of explaining it. When you have those thoughts that just keep coming up, and I can tell you, I have been in rooms with some incredible people, and this is something that everybody struggles with. Doesn't matter how far along you are in the journey, every single person I talk to tells me that this is still an issue for them, that they start down that rabbit hole of self-talk that is not going to serve them. So always remember, come back to what's true, not what has been pressured or put on you. That was never yours to hold. Then we're going to make room for peace, purpose, and identity. By letting go of expectations, you're letting go of emotional weight and the old patterns that don't serve you and don't reflect the woman that God is shaping you into. And Karen, I did see what you put in there, and yes, definitely. Okay, so this is really what the whole framework looks like. So you're going to regulate because your body needs safety before it can let go. So slowing your breath, feeling your feet on the ground underneath you, feeling yourself supported in your chair, that all helps let your nervous system soften. Then you're going to work on recentering. Quiet the noise so that your truth can rise. Notice what you're carrying. Come back to the truth of who you are and not the pressure that you've absorbed. So that's where those thoughts get interrupted. And something that can be really nice, um, if you have a thought that keeps looping and you can't break that cycle, or you feel like you're struggling with that, go into ChatGPT and ask it to give you a Bible verse related to that thought. And then you have truth that you can say instead of that loop that you're stuck in. Reframing. So it's going to shift the meaning you've given the moment. So instead of I failed, it becomes I learned, or I survived, or I grew. So you're going to challenge those old stories. And something I always like to ask is it even true? When I have a thought come up, is it even true? And your brain is wired to automatically look for truth, regardless of what you tell it. Your brain looks for the truth in that. And if you present it with truth of something else, it starts to believe the actual truth and not the loop that you've been stuck on. So release, let go of what no longer aligns and serves you. So laying down expectations that were put down that you didn't agree to, guilt, that's a big one, emotional heaviness, or just general responsibility that somehow has landed on you that you just took on, but wasn't ever really yours to take on in the first place. And then renewing. This is where space opens. It's where clarity happens. It's where identity and peace begin to rise. This is when you start to see a shift, and you start to walk in rooms and hold your head a little bit higher, or you show up differently on social media, or for your family, you show up differently. So remember that this really is holy work, but it's also healing work. So, rising isn't about hustling harder, and it's not about perfection. And it is certainly not about another checklist, although I do love a good checklist. It's about remembering and returning to your identity. It's about choosing alignment over overwhelm. It's allowing God to strengthen the parts of you that have been weary. You're not starting over, you're rising in a restored way. As you walk into 2026, rising may look small, but intentional choices can support who you're becoming. So you just want to take one little tiny step every single day, just a micromillimeter even, in a forward motion to regain that clarity, that confidence, that purpose. Now, we're going to move into what I call reset inventory. And it's really kind of a check-in that you can have for yourself to see where you need support in the new year. So there's several pillars that I use. I use 7 specifically in my coaching. The physical, which is how does your body feel? What does it need to function with energy? The mental, which is what thoughts or patterns are keeping you stuck or in survival mode. Emotional, where have you been suppressing emotions instead of expressing them? Social, who drains you? Who takes energy away? Who do you dread getting on the phone with or walking into a room with? But who supports you and helps you rebuild that energy? Where do you need to put some boundaries up for your own health in those areas? Your spiritual life, what keeps you grounded? Where do you feel disconnected from God's voice? And what steps can you do to heal that disconnection? Your finances. And this is a big, ugly one that people don't like to talk about, but it's so important to address this because it causes stress for so many people. Are your financial decisions rooted in fear or are they rooted in faith? And then your purpose and identity. So, where have you been dimming your light? And where are you being called to rise? So, in the chat, if you're comfortable, share which of these areas you feel like needs your focus most right now. Yeah, I'm in the same boat, Tiffany. So, integration is what happens when you make that shift. So, one of the reasons that people stay stuck is because they believe that transformation requires just a dramatic change, but it doesn't. Your nervous system can't sustain massive overnight shifts. It just throws it back into survival mode. It thrives on small, steady actions. Drinking water before coffee, setting one boundary, taking three breaths before you respond to a text message or an email or a comment that someone made that you can tell brought something up for you. Pray before you plan, resting without guilt, and speaking one truth out loud to yourself every morning. That consistency builds confidence, and confidence builds momentum. Now, you've reflected on your year, you've looked at what was heavy, and you've made space for renewal. Take a slow, steady breath and anchor into the truth that's rising within you. You want to step into 2026 grounded, restored, and connected to who you were created to be. This is an affirmation that you can actually write on your bathroom mirror with a dry erase marker. Don't use a permanent marker; it won't come off. But a dry erase marker. You can do it if you have um, a refrigerator that is smooth. A lot of times you can do it there too. I release the old, I rise renewed, and I walk in purpose. So tonight you reflected, gaining some clarity, hopefully. You released some things that opens up space for you to take on new things. And you rose, reconnected with your identity. That, even in 30 minutes, is a transformation and it is holy work. My reset program will be beginning January 6th. And it's something that I would love to have you walk alongside. In the 6-week journey, I walk with you as you rebuild your energy, your identity, and your alignment really from the inside out. You'll be getting an email after the class. You'll get it tomorrow. It's going to have your replay link in it, and it's also going to have a special offer for a reset, the 6-week program. It's going to include a discount, a 30-minute call with me, a coaching call with me. And if you choose to join my retreat next October, you will have priority room selection in the sisterhood room. You will be able to choose your own bed, or in the queen room, you will be able to choose your own bed. So, as we close tonight, I want to invite you into a moment of grounding and prayer. Place one hand on your heart and let your breath soften. I thank you for every woman here. I thank you for the ways you've carried her, protected her, sustained her, and spoken to her, even in the seasons where it felt like silence. I thank you for the strength she didn't know she had, and for the tenderness she's learning to offer herself. I ask that you bring peace to her mind, peace that steadies her, peace that silences the inner critic, and peace that calms the storm within. I pray for strength in her body, restoration in her spirit, and clarity in her steps. Let her feel supported, seen, and held in ways she hasn't felt in a long time. Remind her that she is not broken, she is becoming. Remind her that she doesn't have to carry everything alone. Remind her that you are guiding her one step at a time, even when she can't see the full path. I pray that she walks into 2026 and she does so with confidence, rooted in identity, alignment rooted in purpose, and courage rooted in your voice. Let her rise, not rushed, not overwhelmed, but steady, grounded, and connected to who you created her to be. Take one more deep breath. And I am going to stop my screen sharing so I can see your beautiful faces. Before we close, I want to extend an invitation. I will be doing these classes once a month, and I was going to drop it in the chat, but I'm actually not seeing the chat on my side. Let me see if I can see it. I can see it. There it is. I'm going to drop the link. Give me 2 seconds to grab it. I'm going to drop the link and you guys can register for the January class already. It's here. I just have to find it. So I am going to drop this in the chat here.